Here probability of the alphabets are given as A1 has 1 by 2 probability, A2 has 1 by 4, then 1 by 8 and 1 by 8, and we are required to find out the minimum required average code word length in bits to represent this source for error free reconstruction. We have to find out the minimum required average code word length. The minimum required average code word length is nothing but entropy of this source. So basically in this question we have to find out entropy of the source, and the formula for entropy of the source H is summation pi log base 2 1 by pi, where pi is the probability of alphabet, I is 1 to 4. So this will be, first probability is 1 by 2 log 2, and 1 divided by 1 by 2 will be 2, plus next is 1 by 4 log base 2 4 plus 1 by 8 log base 2 8 plus 1 by 8 log base 2 8. This is 1 by 4, this is 2 plus 1 by 8 into, this is 3 into 2, 1 plus 1 by 2 plus 3 by 4. This will be 2.25. So the minimum required average code word length for error free reconstruction will be 2.25 bits. This is average bit required. Average may be in points. Okay. So the answer will be 2.25 bits. A speech signal is sampled at 8 kHz. It means after sampling in 1 second you will have 8000 samples. Sampling rate is 8 kHz. It means in 1 second there will be 8000 samples. You have 8000 samples will be generated in 1 second, and sampled at 8 kHz and encoded into PCM format using 8 bit per samples. Okay. For one sample 8 bits are used, or one sample is encoded with 8 bits. So in 1 second there are 8000 samples and one sample is encoded with 8 bit. It means in 1 second the total number of bit will be 8000 samples into number of bit in one sample. So this will be 64,000 bit in 1 second. So the data rate will be 64,000 bit per second, or 64 kbps. Okay. Now for transmission 4 level PAM is used. It means in the transmission, for the transmission of bit, let's say you have bit 1, for this bit a pulse PT is used, and for 0 let's say minus PT is used. So it is possible that for 1 bit there will be a pulse. It is also possible that for a set of 2 bit, let's say for 0 0 we have a pulse, for 0 1 there will be another pulse. Let's say this is minus 3 PT. For 0 1 we may have minus PT, 1 0, and similarly for 1 1. For 1 0 we may have PT, and 1 1 we may have 3 PT. If you have 4 symbols, 2 bits can be transmitted simultaneously, because 2 bits simultaneously will make 4 combinations. Okay, it will make 4 different combinations. So for 4 different combination you must have four different pulses. So 4 level PAM means you have 4 different pulses. It means 2 bits can be transmitted simultaneously. Okay. So it means 2 bits are transmitted simultaneously. Then what will be the symbol rate? For example, for 00 minus 3pt is transmitted. So for 2 bits, one symbol is transmitted. So for 64,000 bits, 32,000 symbols, okay, this many symbols, this will be transmitted in 1 second. In 1 second, 64,000 bits are generated, and in 1 second, 32,000 symbols will be transmitted. And we know that the bandwidth requirement for the transmission is, the minimum bandwidth required for the transmission is symbol rate divided by 2. This is the minimum bandwidth requirement. So the symbol rate is 32,000 per second, 32,000 divided by 2. The minimum required bandwidth will be 16,000 Hertz or 16 kilohertz. This question says that a channel which has range 500 Hertz to 2000 Hertz, it is deployed for communication. So the bandwidth will be, the total bandwidth of the channel or the frequency range given to this channel will be 1500 Hertz. Okay, this is used for communication. A modem is designed to transmit bit at the rate of 4800 bit per second. The bit rate is 4800 bit per second using 16 QAM, 16 quadrature amplitude modulation. It means in the constellation diagram, we will have 16 points. Those will be separated by magnitudes and phase. Okay, these are the 16 points, or in constellation diagram we will have 16 different symbols. So if you have 16 different symbols, the number of bit that can be transmitted simultaneously, this is given by the number of bit that can be transmitted simultaneously, it is given by log base 2 16. If you have 16 QAM, 16 quadrature amplitude modulation, the number of bits that can be transmitted simultaneously will be log 16 base 2. So this will be 4. It means 4 bits can be transmitted simultaneously, because if you have 4 bits, it will have 16 different combinations, and for each combination you must have a unique pulse. Okay. So if bit rate is 4800 bit per second and 4 bits can be transmitted simultaneously, so what will be the symbol rate? The symbol rate will be bit rate divided by number of bits that can be transmitted simultaneously. This will be 4800 divided by 4. This will be 1200 symbol per second. Now, in the transmission of quadrature amplitude modulation, this is a combination of ASK, amplitude shift keying, and PSK. Quadrature amplitude modulation is combination of amplitude shift keying and phase shift keying, and for both of this type of transmission or modulation, the bandwidth requirement is given by, the bandwidth requirement is equal to the symbol rate. Okay, if, or the minimum bandwidth requirement, the minimum bandwidth requirement is equal to symbol rate. But here raised cosine pulse is used, so for that we will have to include the roll-off factor. So if we will include the roll-off factor, the bandwidth requirement will be the symbol rate into 1 plus R, where R is roll-off factor. Okay. This is the minimum bandwidth requirement for 0 ISI. This is the minimum bandwidth requirement such that there will be no intersymbolic interference, but even if the bandwidth is between RS to RS, there will be no ISI, and depending upon the value of R, this may range from RS to 2RS. The maximum value of R ranges from 0 to 1. So depending upon the value of R, the bandwidth requirement may vary from RS to 2RS. So this will be the formula in case of quadrature amplitude modulation to find out the bandwidth requirement. Now in this question it says that we have to find out roll-off factor such that entire frequency spectrum is used. It means the total range of the frequency spectrum is 1500 Hz. So this 1500 Hz has to be used. It means the bandwidth will be 1500 Hz, and this will be equal to symbol rate into 1 plus R. So symbol rate is 1200 into 1 plus R. So from here we can calculate R as 0.25. In the theory lecture I have already explained why for case of ASK or PSK the minimum bandwidth requirement will be equal to symbol rate. So these things already have been explained. In this question we have to find out power of xt, and xt is related to a function Vt by this relation 3Vt minus 8, where Vt itself is a random process which has zero mean, and this is a stationary random process. Okay, xt is equal to 3Vt minus 8. Vt is a stationary random process with zero mean, and we have to find out power in xt. So power of any signal is nothing but its mean square value. So basically we are required to find out the mean square value of xt. We have to find out the mean square value of xt. So the mean square value of xt can be written as the mean square value of 3Vt minus 8. Take its square and then find out mean of this quantity, or we have to find out mean of, just expand it, 9 Vt square minus 48 Vt minus plus 64. We have to find out mean or average of this quantity, and finding out average of any quantity is a linear process. So finding out average of this, it means find out average of each quantity and then use the plus or minus sign. It means finding out average of this quantity means 9 into average of this quantity minus 48 average of Vt plus mean of 64. Since 64 is a constant, so its mean will be 64 only. Vt is a stationary random process, okay, and its mean is 0. This is nothing but mean of Vt, so this quantity will be 0. So basically we have to find out 9 average of V square t plus 64. Now if average of Vt is 0, it is not necessary that average of V square t will also be 0. Like average of 2 and minus 2 is 0, but if you will take a square, let's say x has two values, 2 and minus 2, so average of x will be 0, but if you will try to calculate average of x square, its square will be 4, this is also 4, so its average will not be equal to 0, this is equal to 4. Okay, so we cannot say, this is not necessary that average of this quantity will be 0. And what we are doing here, okay, now to find out this quantity, we will use the autocorrelation function for function Vt. The formula for autocorrelation function is R tau for function V will be, this is nothing but average of, or let me first write down in terms of t, 1 by t integration over the period of t, Vt into Vt plus or minus tau, or plus minus tau. Even if you will use plus at the place of minus, you will get the same function in terms of tau, and this will be integrated in terms of time, and the time will vary from 0 to t, or for a range of capital T if it is periodic. If it is not periodic, we can write it down as 1 by t limit t tends to infinity, or the simple expression will be, the simple expression for autocorrelation function, this will be nothing but average of, you are integrating from 0 to t and dividing it by t, so you are simply finding out average of this quantity, average of Vt into Vt plus tau. Now what will be the value of this autocorrelation function for tau equal to 0? This will be average of, put tau equal to 0, so this will give you Vt into Vt, this will give you Vt square, and this is nothing but mean of Vt square. So mean of Vt square is nothing but value of its autocorrelation function at tau equal to 0. So to find out Vt square, we will put tau equal to 0 here. So if you will put tau equal to 0, this will give you 4. This will be 9 into 4 plus 64. This is 100. So power in xt is 100 unit. So in this question, you must know that the power of a signal is nothing but its mean square value, and power is also equal to the value of autocorrelation function for tau equal to 0. In this question, to represent the conditional probabilities and to represent the probabilities, events are defined. So x0 is an event when a 0 is transmitted. In a communication system, 0 and 1s are transmitted. If a 0 is transmitted, there is probability that 0 will be received, that will be a correct detection. If a 0 has been transmitted, there is also a probability that due to wrong detection, 1 can be received. So x0 is an event when 0 is transmitted, and the probability of x0 is 1 by 2. This means that the probability of transmitting a 0 is 1 by 2. 0 is transmitted with a probability of 1 by 2. So the remaining bit is 1. So if 0 is transmitted with a probability of 1 by 2, 1 will also be transmitted with a probability of 1 by 2. The remaining is 1 by 2. Next, the conditional probability, the probability of occurrence of y0 when x0 has already been occurred, this is 3 by 4. It means that x0 has occurred, it means a 0 has been transmitted, and y0 has occurred means a 0 has been received. So this means the probability of obtaining y0, or the probability of reception of 0 when a 0 has been transmitted. x0 means x0 has already occurred, it means 0 has been transmitted, and y0 has occurred means a 0 has been received. So p y0 by x0 equal to 3 by 4 represent the probability of receiving 0 when a 0 is transmitted. So when a 0 is transmitted, the probability of obtaining 0 is 3 by 4. So the probability of correct detection is 3/4 when a 0 is transmitted. So obviously the probability of wrong detection, the probability of reception of 1, this will be 1/4. 1 minus 3/4. If probability of correct detection is 3/4, the probability of wrong detection will be 1/4. Similarly, the next is P y0 by x1. x1 is when a 1 is transmitted. So the probability of obtaining 0 when 1 is transmitted. Probability of obtaining 0 when 1 is transmitted. When 1 is transmitted, the probability of obtaining 0 is 1/2. Means the probability of wrong detection of 1 is 1/2. The probability of correct detection will also be 1/2. So this diagram is basically, this diagram represents this much part of the question. Okay. Now in the question, the information in bit that you obtain when you learn which symbol has been received. We have to find out the information in bit. The information in bit is nothing but entropy. So we have to find out entropy when you learn which symbol has been received, and it is given in bracket that you already know that 0 has been transmitted. So basically we have to find out the entropy when 0 has been transmitted. So when 0 has been transmitted, there are two possibilities, there are two events or two possibilities when 0 has been transmitted. The one possibility is of correct detection, so probability 1 is equal to 3/4, and the other is for wrong detection, probability is 1/4. So basically we have to find out the entropy when a 0 has been transmitted, and that entropy is nothing but information in bits. Okay. So for entropy the formula is summation of pi log base 2 1/pi. So this will be 3/4 log base 2 4/3 plus 1/4 log base 2 4. This will give you 0.8113. This is a good question of communication system, and it involves many concepts like probability of random variable and autocorrelation functions and power spectral density also. So first I am reading this question, and we will try to understand the question first step by step, then we will proceed to the solution. An information source generate a bit sequence alpha n, where alpha n can take one of two possible values, -1 and 1 with equal probabilities, and is statistically independent. Alpha n is a sequence and it can take any value, -1 or +1. It is a random variable. It can take -1 and 1 randomly but with equal probability. It means its probability density function will be an impulse at 1 and an impulse at -1, and its strength of both impulses will be half. And this sequence is statistically independent. It means that for some n, let's say alpha 1 is equal to 1, so it has nothing to do with the another value of alpha. It means if alpha 1 is 1, again alpha 2 may be anything out of -1 or +1. Similarly, alpha 0 can be anything out of -1 or +1. It has nothing to do with the any other value of alpha. Okay. So this is the meaning of statistically independent and identically distributed. Now this sequence is pre-coded to obtain another sequence Bn. If alpha n is a sequence which is randomly distributed between 1 and -1, Bn is a function of alpha n, so Bn will also be a random variable, and its value will depend upon the present and the present value of alpha n and alpha n minus 3. Next, so overall we understood that Bn is also a random variable or random sequence. Now the sequence Bn is used to modulate a pulse Gt to generate a baseband signal Xt. So we have Xt which depends upon Gt and Bn, and Bn is a random variable, so Xt will also be a random function, and it is given in the question that in the power spectral density of Xt, we have a null at frequency 1 divided by 3t. Okay, then we have to find out the value of k. Okay, so to solve this question, the information given in the question is that in the power spectral density of Xt, there is a null at frequency equal to 1 by 3t. So we will first try to find out power spectral density of Xt. Power spectral density of Xt, and in that power spectral density we will use this information to find out the value of k. Okay. Now Xt is dependent on Bn and Gt minus Nt. This is a sequence, and Gt is given as Gt is equal to 1 for time between 0 to t and 0 otherwise. It means Gt is nothing but this is 1 for 0 to t and otherwise it is 0. So it is a pulse which is non-zero from 0 to t, otherwise it is 0, or this is a pulse which has a width of t. Okay, so to solve this question we will first try to find out power spectral density of Xt. To find out power spectral density, if you remember in the theory lecture of line coding, we found out power spectral density using autocorrelation function. If you have to find out power spectral density of Xt, you will first find out autocorrelation function of x, and then we take, after finding out autocorrelation function, what we do, we take frequency transform of this function, then we get power spectral density. Okay, so we will use autocorrelation function also. Okay, so Gt is a pulse. Now what will be Gt minus Nt? Gt minus Nt, or if we open this summation, this will be nothing but, let us first put n equal to 0. So we will have B naught Gt. Now put n equal to 1. We will have B1 into G t minus t, B2 G t minus 2t, and so on. Similarly, in negative side we will have, put n equal to, since n is varying from minus infinity to plus infinity, so in the similar way we will put n equal to minus 1, minus 2, and we can go to minus infinity. This will be G t plus t. Putting n equal to minus 1, it will make positive. B minus 2 t plus 2t, and so on. Okay, so this is Xt. So if we try to plot this, if we try to draw the graphical representation of Xt, what we have, B naught into Gt. So Gt is a rectangular pulse. Gt is a rectangular pulse, but its height is modified with B naught, and b naught is a random variable. Okay, so we will say the first term of xt, its height is a random variable, it is not fixed, but its width is t. So for height I am drawing a dotted line, it will depend upon bn, so I am writing it b naught and its width will be t. Similarly, what will be bn? gt minus t. gt minus t is nothing but t unit right shift of gt. If this is gt, what will be gt minus capital T? gt start from 0, so gt minus capital T, just shift this block t unit right side, so this will be gt minus t, and its height is b1. So b1 is also a random variable, so again we will have a rectangular pulse. Okay, height will be a dotted line, this is b1. Okay, this is 2t. gt minus t will start from t and it will again become 0 at 2t. I'm just trying to give an idea about the function xt, for which we have to find out power spectral density. Now again gt minus 2t, so it will start at 2t and it will finish at 3t, and bn may be positive or negative, anything. If it is negative, the height will be in negative side. Okay, this is 3t. So each block will, or height of each block will be constant for a t duration, and after t duration it will change its height, and even that height is a random variable that will depend upon bn, and it will also start, it will also be on negative side. This height will be b minus 1 or beta minus 1. This is beta, not b. Okay, so this type of function is xt, and for this type of function we have to find out power spectral density. So first we will try to find out, okay, let us see what we do. I am writing here useful informations only. Beta n is given as alpha n plus k alpha n minus 3, and you have a null at xt has already been drawn. You have a null at f equal to 1 by 3t, where t is width of gt. You have a null in the power spectral density of xt, you have a null at f equal to 1 by 3t. Now let us consider a pulse train. Let's say positive, this is negative, this is positive, again you have positive, then you have negative. This type of exercise we have already done in line coding, in the theory lecture of line coding. We represented a rectangular pulse in terms of impulses, a sequence of impulses. How we can represent this signal in terms of sequence of pulses? We will have a fixed pulse pt. Let's say this width is t, 0 to t, and if you will take convolution of this pulse with, let's say the first block is positive, let's say height is 1, so here you will have height 1, and you take convolution of this pulse with impulse at 0, 1. If you will take convolution of this with impulse at 0, you will get this block. After that you have a negative pulse, so at t you take convolution of this pulse with a negative impulse. Okay, this negative impulse will shift this rectangular pulse by t unit. Then again you have a positive block, then you will have positive impulse, again you have positive impulse. Okay, so if you take convolution of these two, signal, you will get sequence of rectangular pulses. But here the height of rectangular pulses are fixed. Suppose it doesn't have height of 1. So what you can do, you take the height of this pulse as 1, and depending upon the height of these rectangular pulses, you can modify or you can manage the strength of these impulses. Let's say here you have height of 2, to keep this height 1, and here we will say the strength of impulse is 2. Let's say this height is -2, here strength will be -2. Let's say this height is not 2, this height is, let's say, 4, okay, and this height is 3, this is 4, this is 3, okay. So here strength of impulse will be 4, here strength of impulse will be 3. So depending upon the height of pulses in this signal, you can modify the strength of impulses, then take convolution with a fixed signal, fixed pulse Pt. Similarly, we can represent xt in terms of convolution with xt in terms of a fixed pulse Pt in convolution with impulse train whose strength will be decided by the height of xt. So how xt can be represented? What we are doing here, we have to find out power spectral density of xt, and for finding out power spectral density, we are doing all these things. Okay. So we have to represent xt in terms of a fixed pulse Pt in convolution with a series of impulse or a sequence of impulse whose strength will be decided by height of xt. So this xt can be represented as a fixed pulse Pt of duration t, height is 1, in convolution with impulses. There will be an impulse at 0, and this will be decided by this height. This height is nothing but b naught, which is not fixed, which is not certain. This is a random variable, and bn depends, this bn is equal to alpha n plus k alpha n minus 3. Similarly, here height will be, here the strength will be b1. This is third block, so strength of third impulse will be b2. Similarly, here you will have, these are random, b minus 1, b minus 2. Okay, let's say xt is, this is pt and convolution with, this is yt. Okay, we have to find out power spectral density of xt. This can also be represented as xt is the output, pt is a system to which we have applied a signal yt, and the output is xt. Okay, so in power spectral density, if you have such type of system, the power spectral density of xt, let us represent it as sxf. This is equal to power spectral density of input syf into the impulse response of the system. The sxf will be syf into, sxf will be fyf into modulus of pf square, where pf is the frequency response of this system. So to find out the power spectral density of xt, which is sxf, we need to know pf. Pt is a rectangular pulse, so its frequency transform is very easy. This is the modulus of frequency transform, or the frequency transformer. This is of this type, sinc function, and if you will take a square of this function, you will have this type of graph. If the width is t here, this will be 2 sine omega t divided by omega, and the first 0 will occur when omega t is equal to pi. When omega t equal to pi, sin pi will be 0, omega equal to pi divided by t, or frequency will be 1 divided by 2t. So this will be 1 divided by 2t, and this will be minus 1 divided by 2t. Okay. So finding out modulus pf square is very easy. The main task is to find out power spectral density of yt. SYF is nothing but power spectral density of yt, and what we have assumed yt is a sequence of impulse whose strength is a random variable which depends upon the value of beta, and again beta is dependent on alpha. So now we have to find out power spectral density of yt, and we know that power spectral density of yt, this is nothing but frequency transform of autocorrelation function of yt, Ry tau. So first we will try to find out the autocorrelation function of this function. Okay, in line coding we have studied that, we have already studied. If you don't understand now, I would recommend you to study the theory lecture of line coding. So there we have already studied that if you have sequence of impulses whose strength are random, okay, let's say its strength is ak, this will be a naught, this is a1, this is a2, this is a minus 1. Its autocorrelation function will again be a sequence of impulses. If you have sequence of impulses, if you have a function which is sequence of impulses and strength of that impulse is not, that is random, its autocorrelation function will again be a sequence of impulses, okay, which will occur at the same instant as in the original function. Let's say this occurs at 0, t, 2t, 3t. So in the autocorrelation of this function, the impulses will again occur at 0, t, 2t. Okay. Obviously we are drawing autocorrelation function. This is yt, this will be yt versus t, and autocorrelation function will be ry tau versus tau. So at this point the value of tau is t, this is 2t. This will again be impulse, and strength of impulse will be r divided by t. Let's say at 0 this will be r naught divided by t, at t this will be r1 divided by t, in general this will be rk divided by t. At 2t this will be r2 divided by t, where r naught is average of ak square. Okay, r1 is, this we have already studied in line coding, in the finding out the power spectral density of polar signaling or on off signaling. We have done this type of exercise. r0 is average of ak square, r1 is average of ak into ak plus 1. Similarly r2 is, or rn is, so this is rn, this is average of ak into ak plus n. Okay, so in our case xt is nothing but, or yt is nothing but a sequence of impulses whose strength is decided by b. So in the autocorrelation function this will again, the autocorrelation function will again be sequence of impulses whose strength will be r0 by t, and here r0 will be, at the place of a0 we have beta here, so r0 will be average of beta n square R1 will be average of beta n into beta n plus 1, R2 will be beta n plus beta n plus 2, and so on. Okay, so now our task is to find out R0, R1, R2, R3 and so on. If we will find out these values, we will have autocorrelation function of yt. When we have autocorrelation function of yt, we will have power spectral density of yt. When we have power spectral density of yt, we will have power spectral density of xt. Okay, now let us find out value of R0. Okay, R0 is average of Bn square, and what is Bn? Bn is alpha n plus k alpha n minus 3. So basically we have to find out average of alpha n plus k into alpha n minus 3. Take its square and then find out average. This will be nothing but average of alpha n square plus 2k alpha n minus 3 plus k square alpha n minus 3 alpha n minus 3 square. We have to take its average. Taking average is a linear operation, so you can separate it out. R0 will be average of alpha n square plus 2 into 2k into average of alpha n into alpha n minus 3 plus k square into average of alpha n minus 3 square. Okay, now alpha n can take minus 1 or plus 1 with equal probability. Okay, I have already drawn the power spectral density of alpha n. So whatever value out of minus 1 or plus 1, whatever value alpha n take, it doesn't matter, alpha n square will be constant at 1. Minus 1 square is also 1, plus 1 square is also 1. So alpha n square is a constant at 1, so its average will be 1. Similarly, alpha n minus 3, this is the same is the case for alpha n minus 3. So this will again be a constant. This will be 1. 1 into k square is k square. And what is its average? Alpha n will maybe minus 1 or plus 1. Similarly, alpha n minus 3 may be minus 1 or plus 1. So the total number of combination will be 4. When alpha n is minus 1, alpha n minus 3 is minus 1. Alpha n minus 3. This is minus 1, this is plus 1. 1 minus 1 and 1 minus 1. No. Minus 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 plus plus minus plus plus. So there are 4 cases with equal probability. Its weightage will be 1 by 4. Its weightage is, all have weightage of 1 by 4. Okay. Now if you have to find out average of these two multiplication, here these two multiplication has minus 1 into 1, 1, and its weightage is 1 by 4. Take all the multiplication, multiply with the weightage. The probability will decide the weightage of each multiplication. We have to find out weighted average here. Here we have minus 1, its weightage is also 1 by 4. Here you have minus 1, its weightage is also 1 by 4. And here you have plus 1 and weightage is 1 by 4. If you will add, the two quantities negative, two quantities are positive, so this will be 0. Okay. So the average of alpha n square is 1, and the average of alpha n into alpha n minus 3, this will be 0. Okay. Even since alpha n has nothing to do with the another value of alpha or the next or previous value of alpha, the average of alpha n into some other sequence or the some other value of alpha. Okay, we will do it later. So at this point, this is 0, this is 1, this is k square. So R naught we have found out, R naught is 1 plus k square. Okay, R naught is 1 plus k square. Similarly, we will try to find out R1. R1 is nothing but average of Bn into Bn plus 1. This is average of Bn into Bn plus 1. Bn is alpha n plus k into alpha n minus 3, and what will be Bn plus 1? At the place of n we will put n plus 1. So this will be alpha n plus 1 plus k. At the place of n we have to put n plus 1, so this will become n minus 2, and we have to take average of this multiplication. Now first multiply it, alpha n into alpha n plus 1 plus k into alpha n minus 3 into alpha n plus 1 plus k alpha n minus 2 plus k square alpha n minus 3 into alpha n minus 2, and we have to take average of this whole quantity. We will first take separate average and then we will add. Okay, now what will be average of alpha n into alpha n plus 1? This is similar to finding out average of alpha n into alpha n minus 3. Here you have alpha n, here you have alpha n plus 1. This can be minus minus, minus plus, plus minus, and plus plus. So again you will have 4 independent cases with equal probabilities. If you will find out the weighted average, you will get it as 0. Okay, so in the finding out average, if you have a square of alpha, this will give you a constant 1, because 1 into 1 will give you 1, and minus 1 into minus 1, this will also give you 1. So its average will be 1 only. Okay, and if you don't have alpha square, if you have this type of quantity alpha n and some other value of alpha, then their average will be 0. So its average is also 0, this is 0, this is 0. Okay. So what we find here, R1 is equal to 0. Okay, now you can easily guess the value of R2, or if you are not able to guess, let me first write it down. R2 is average of, this is not plus, average of Bn into Bn plus 2. Bn is alpha n plus k alpha n minus 3, and Bn plus 2 will be alpha n plus 2 plus k alpha n minus 1. Now if you will multiply and then if you will take the average, you don't have any square of alpha, so each term will contribute 0 average. So this is also 0. For R3, this will be alpha n plus k alpha n minus 3. This is alpha n plus 3 plus k alpha n. Okay. Now when you will multiply, this term will give you square of alpha n. This is nothing but k into alpha n square, and remaining all other term, in the remaining terms you will not have a square of alpha n, so these term will give you 0 average, and its average is 1, so this will give you. Okay. After R3, when you will find out R4, R5, you can observe it also. In all other values of r, you are never going to get any square of alpha. So these all values will be 0. So this was pt, this is yt, and sxf is modulus pf square into syf, and for syf we are finding out autocorrelation function of y. So the autocorrelation function of this is yt, this is sequence of impulses, and here strength of impulse will be r naught divided by t, where t is the distance between the consecutive impulses. And what is value of r naught? R naught is 1 plus k square. The strength of this impulse will be 1 plus k square divided by t. Next impulse will occur at, this is tau equal to t. In the autocorrelation function, the next impulse will occur at the same distance as the distance between the two impulses in yt. Okay, here strength will be r1 divided by t, and r1 is 0, so we will not have any impulse here. R2 is also 0, so again we don't have any impulse. R3 is k, so here we will have impulse of, let's say this strength is k. No, this will be 0, this is 2t, so here you will have R2. At 3t you will have an impulse of a strength k. And autocorrelation function is, this is an even function, this will be symmetrical about y axis, so here also you will have 0, 0 and same impulse k, and rest all other values are 0. Okay. So this is the autocorrelation function of yt. This is ry tau. Next what we have to do, we have ryt. Now take its frequency transform, you will get power spectral density of yt. So when you will take frequency transform, this impulse occur at 0. Okay, and what is frequency transform of impulse? The frequency transform of any impulse is, the frequency transform of del t is constant at 1, but here the strength is 1 plus k square by t, so frequency transform of only this impulse will be 1 plus k square divided by t, plus this is also an impulse, but this is shifted by 3t. So if for ft you have x omega, for ft minus t you will have x omega into e to power minus j omega t. You have a shifted impulse. If there is no shifting, the frequency transform is 1, so x omega is 1, and for shifting we will multiply with e to power minus j omega capital T. The shifting is for 3 unit and x omega is 1, so 1 into e to power minus j omega 3t. Similarly for this you have a shifting of minus 3t, and here strength is k, so we will multiply it with k. Here also strength is k, but the shifting is e to power minus j omega minus 3t, so to take care of this minus we will make it plus k. So what is this? This is power spectral density of yt. So SYF is 1 by t. This strength is not k, this is k by t. The strength is Rn divided by t. This will be k by t. Here also k by t. This will be 1 plus k square plus k into, these two will become 2 cos omega 3t. here we will have 2k cos omega or 3 omega t. This is power spectral density of yt, and power spectral density of xt will be modulus of pf square into syf. And now it is given in the question that we have a null in the power spectral density of xf, in the power spectral density of xt at frequency equal to 1 by 3t. So we can say that Sxf is equal to 0 at frequency equal to 1 by 3t. Okay, at frequency equal to 1 by 3t, this quantity is 0. Now this quantity can be 0 if Pf is 0 or Syf is 0 at f equal to 1 by 3t. Now if you will draw the Pf square, this is modulus of Pf square, and if you see the graph of this quantity, I have already proved that this goes to 0 for the first time when frequency is equal to 1 by 2t, and here frequency equal to 1 by 3t will be somewhere this point. So it is very clear from the graph that at frequency equal to 1 by 3t, the Pf square does not go to 0. So if this quantity is 0, this will be 0 because of Syf is 0. Okay. So now we have this information that Syf is 0 at f equal to 1 by 3t. So let us put f equal to 1 by 3t in this equation and make it to 0. Okay. So 1 plus k square plus 2k into cos 3 omega will be 2 pi f, 2 pi, and let us put f equal to 1 by 3t. 1 by 3t. Okay. This part is omega, and then we have t. This is equal to 0. Okay, this will be cancelled, 3 will be cancelled, cos 2 pi will be 1. We have 1 plus k square plus 2k equal to 0. This means 1 plus k whole square is 0, or k equal to minus 1. So this will be the answer.